Have you read about mountaineer stuff? Huh.
Okay, good morning from Ellensburg, Washington, at a much more comfortable 72 degrees Fahrenheit. It does do that though, it races up through the day, and I think we're on for 90s, mid-90s maybe today, so that's something we'll have to watch for. It's just from last night charging at the EA. I didn't realise there were quite so many chargers here. Somewhere over there is a Pilot Flying J, so we'll go and see that one. And then go back to where the EA charger was, but look at the Circle K and the Tesla Magic Docks. Let's get over there, have a look at those, and then bet on the road to Seattle and the westernmost point of the United States. Okay, so this would be your first choice, I guess, on a travel trip. This is the northern exit of Ellensburg. There's another exit down here, I believe. About 3 miles away. Starting to get options even at every exit in this particular part of so this is your standard Pilot Flying J site in EVGO setup with 2 Delta 350 kilowatt stations with 4 spaces because they're capable of that simultaneous charging. No canopies here, but it is definitely nicer than the one we saw up in Post Falls, Idaho, which was about the worst I've seen. That was more cramped, out the back by the dumpsters, really not very handy. This is at least right up front. You've got big open spaces, ADA compliant space in the middle there is huge. You can see it's further away from the entrance still, but without losing the safety aspect. Just generally a more modern Pilot Flying J. It looks like this one's been done fairly recently. Big forecourt right off the interstate. You can see the I-90 signs in the distance there pointing over to Spokane heading east and Seattle heading west. So really nice site. It's quite pleasant, but don't need to stop. Might plug in at the Circle K because I haven't actually used one of those yet, so it's been a while. I used a couple of these along the way. This is just general area, but this is the exit on Canyon Road where all of the other Ellensburg fast charging options are, with the exception of one that is downtown. Last night charged at the Electrify America, which is at a Taco Bell. That's an upgraded station that has the one remaining CHAdeMO and CCS combination unit. Only 3 miles from the exit that was at the Pilot Flying J there.
Your route guidance is finished.
Okay, so I don't really need the juice here. You can see they've future-proofed these as well, which is good. Got some extra space. Circle K app, which is just a version of Drives. It does find me, Ellensburg, Charger 1, connect to B, swipe to start. No feedback on the screen there, so I can't tell with that, but hopefully this just fires up. It's pretty reasonable, 43 cents per kilowatt hour. Definitely firing up, and you can see charging's off. Don't get any information there, you'd have to do it through the app. And then it should be a full 180, I guess. It's quite high up in the pack, so maybe it's only going to hit 150, but it usually goes pretty far, and then it will do its reset at 80%, 81% around that. So yeah, maxing out these chargers, which is a good thing. Let's look at the other unit. This does have its screen on, so you can see the generic ABB promo shots on there. It's got an old BMW i3 there from what looks like a European city. Anyway, those all seem to be working, so I can assume everything's online. As far as hardware goes, just the screen on my charger appears to be out. See, that's ramping down already because it's at that higher state of charge, but we did see that it got 180 full whack pretty much, just a little below it. So happy enough with that. I'll let this do its thing. Okay, another one where I've gone way too long. Popped in to get some ice and got to 90%. 11 minutes, swipe to stop. Room for 2 more stations, and 2 more stalls are already painted, so don't know whether that's happening soon, but definitely good to see planning for expansion. But there you go, enough taking pictures of parking lots. Let's get on the road. So then this, I think, is the old V3 Supercharger. So that's got the 12 stalls with the magic dock, and nice location, actually very close to the EA and right next to the Circle K there just down the road. So this is at the Shore Stay Hotel, but it's also by a Wendy's, the Burger King, and easy walk to all those places. I won't stop, but it's that kind of middle distance. If you wanted to spend a bit longer and actually go and explore, they have a 50 kilowatt unit at least. I'll put it up on the screen here from PlugShare. I want to get on the road here, so I'm going to loop back to where the Pilot Flying J was and join the Interstate West there. But it kind of gives you the idea of how much is here. But always time for coffee, of course. And as drive-through coffee, seems lots of these here, plenty of options, and let's see what 1883 Coffee Company has to offer. This is the top of the pass, Snoqualmie, right there. That's heading into North Bend, some lakes here. There's a trail up to the Cascades, I believe. Anyway, this is 90, just a little bit east of Seattle now, and then you hit the city suburbs, I guess, coming out. So it should be a nice view. Turn pretty quickly into the mountains here. You can see that if I'd have looked. You head out of Ellensburg, there's a little bit of the flat rural stuff, and then you hit the mountains. So could have looked at that, but there we are. And these are actually 175 kilowatt units. So I think they're tritium 175s. We'll have a look. And they are EVCS. So I don't know if I've even got that up, because we do not have EVCS in the east. But you can see there. They've got a feed through to PlugShare, so they're available 50 to 175 kilowatts. I assume that's because of the CHAdeMO plug, but we'll look. There's also a lodge around here down the road with Tesla and J1772 plugs for your destination charging. Looks like there is also a J plug over there. So interesting stuff. Good place, obviously, because top of a pass, that's when you're most freaking out. On the way down, assuming this is going to be all downhill now, we get a good amount of regen back, and we've got 99 miles to go, 129 on the GOM, so I'm not even going to plug in. West Coast Electric Highway. Tritium, which has been in some problems recently, but this looks to be online, no problem. It's a relatively new unit, so that's kind of what you'd expect. And obviously the older 50 kilowatt to the side, so not a huge install, but definitely nice, and a pretty pleasant place to charge actually. If you just wanted to have a little picnic, maybe a bit more of a landscaping here would be good, but it is what it is, and not too bad at all actually. Okay, so a few observations. First of all, we are back in EV land because I've just driven through not a huge place, North Bend, Washington, and I've seen a Lucid, a Nissan Leaf, first gen, a BZ4X I think is charging there at this Electrify America. A couple of Marquees, EV6, I think you've got a Lightning pulling up here. I mean, obviously this is a charger, but this was on the way to the charger, so I think this is the community. And then in the background here, this is actually where I came. The site back there has the V4 Supercharger, so I'm actually going to go over there. Again, we're at 55%. I've got charger not too far from the campsite that I'm planning tonight, so I don't really need to worry about that, but I want to take a quick look at this Supercharger. And then over in the distance, that's where your EVgo and your Electrify Americas are. Still got the F-150 Lightning and the BZ4X, maybe going to 100. If that's what I can see, maybe not, maybe it's a different vehicle. But a lot of Teslas around here. It's the third one I've seen. Model Y, Model X was over there. So a bunch of stuff, lots of EVs, much needed. So the only thing you can really say for the EVgo station is that it's in the shade, although on a day like today that might be quite a winner. In some ways though, if you think about it, it's I've said this on the podcast, the Coast to Coast EVs, it's a retail centre, and if you want to go to the shops, then maybe a 50 kilowatt is more appropriate. You know, I wouldn't poo-poo them too much. There's a level 2 there, which I assume works. I'll look at all this after. They did retire some of their level 2s back out east, but just a lot of EVs. There's a Tesla back there, got an Audi plugged in, slightly confused Prius who maybe is identifying as a full BEV, but in any case there's a Rivian over there. I mean, I've seen more EVs in this parking lot while I've been here for 45 minutes, whatever, than I did in all of South Dakota and Iowa. So just kind of a reminder that, you know, on the coast things are very different than they are in the middle of the country. EV adoption is definitely a patchwork at the moment, and it's quite glaring when you come to a place like this. So coming out of the mountains now, likely to hit some traffic, although it is Sunday, so hopefully the other rules of cities apply and people are a bit more chill. But 60 miles, about an hour, we should be
At the light, turn left onto Echo.
So these ones have been replaced, but they just haven't bothered with the channel. You can get a free beanie with every charge. And it's just what it is. can actually... Okay, Port Orchard. There is a 350 available, but it says reduced power, so I'm just going to go with the 150. Swipe that up. Go above nameplate and hit 170, 180. Happy days. So really no big difference between this and the peak of 240, but tapers down to this eventually, and I'm going to go into the store anyway, so really doesn't matter. And another easy startup on Electrify America. Okay, 25 minutes and a quick shop, and we've replaced the e-Golf with an EV9, which is excellent. You can see there coming up on 95%. I'm just going to stop it up once we get to 55 kilowatt hours for the sake of roundness, and finish up. Pretty healthy stop there. We're about 15 miles from the campsite. We'll head that way, get unpacked, on we go again. Okay, some notable numbers as we make it to camp here in a little bit west of Seattle. Past 70,000 miles on the odometer and getting close to 4,000 here, and after we drive around a little bit to explore the area we'll be past 4,000. So big numbers, big trip, and plenty more to come. Okay, so 85% to 78% with all the various accoutrements, including filling up that battery. 203 miles on the GOM, and a whole bunch of driving today around the Olympic Peninsula. We are 101 West Olympic Highway, I believe, and the next stop is Port Angeles. So this will be the last Electrify America stop heading west. It's only about, I think, like 90 miles then from the coast. The options thereafter are non-Electrify America until you get further down the coast, but there is Tesla Magic Dock, a Rivian Adventure Network, and some interesting options. So we'll do this one and then see where we go after that. So it's actually gone quite cold today, although it is 61 degrees. We may get some cold gate here, but in any case, you've got the two in the middle are the 350s, so if anyone wants to get mad at bolts charging on them, go ahead. But this is number 4, 150, which will do us just fine. And again, you don't really know, like you can say, well, I pulled up and there's a 150 kilowatt, but what if this one was in use and those are the only ones available? So I am a staunch defender of bolts. I don't think they intentionally screw the higher amounts, and for our car at least it really doesn't make a difference, not that I care about. So that will be 16 minutes to 80%, I really need the restroom, so just a quick look at the map here. We started over here in the kind of Bremerton, this peninsula here. Decided to do the pretty way, peninsula here, all the way up 101, all the way around to Port Angeles. This is now the final kind of charge stop before we hit Near Bay, Cape Flattery. We'll let this 150 kilowatt do its job, and we'll be back with a close to full charge again. 4,247 miles in, the last 82 to go. Let's make it happen. Like that's the end of the road, literally, as far as driving goes, but this is also about hiking this trip and going in cool places, so let's go and take some pictures of Cape Flattery, Washington. Bit of a hike, but nothing too crazy, about a mile and a half. So still at 68%, still at 185. You do this end of the parking road there and then you hike in. It looks like we have a whole coast options. So let's take a look down there, see what we can see and see how far we can go. Okay, the road out of town was briefly closed for a funeral. You know you are in a one road town when that happened. They said 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes. I turned back, had a fish and chip dinner or lunch, whatever you want to call it at this time. And now we're ready to go. So day is running short. I do want to see some more of Olympic. This is technically it. We will head on to Lake Crescent, which was recommended to me by Anthony, a friend of the channel. And actually I've done a lot of this wrong. I should have really stopped at a bunch of these places on the way through. A secondary road that goes through the Lake Crescent and Merrimere Falls, a bunch of stuff. In any case, doesn't matter. Daylight will be burned and we should go now. This is where electric vehicle charging comes into its own. When parking's at a premium, you get a space and some juice. So we'll join this Tesla. Not bad at all. So I don't know how long we'll be here, but it looks pretty nice. There's a falls, the lodge, beautiful, beautiful lake. I'm going to go and see if I can find the hiking trail for the falls. So there are actually several trails here. I started with the Moments in Time trail, which is more of a kid-friendly trail, and lots of interesting boards and places to stop for kiddos, and right on the edge of Crescent Lake with some nice views. Then decided, well, charging is happening, it's a beautiful day and a beautiful area, so let's check the, I think it's Merrimere Falls. That's a pretty well-known one. And that's what I was originally heading to, so figured we've got some daylight left and let's go and check it out. So that's what we're doing, and I'll put the other potential hikes. This is only the short, easy one. There are some hard ones, Storm King, all kinds, so I'll put the other ones up on the screen here, but really, really beautiful place. Highly recommend Lake Crescent and the surrounding area in Olympic National Park. We can see we're still charging at 7 kilowatts. I think we started in the low 40s. I'm really starting to lose track of all the charging here. But obviously a solid bump. It must be in the range of 10 to 15 kilowatt hours. Makes a lot of sense while you hike. There are really long trails here you could go for all day. And then there's the beach and the boating and the lodge. So really it depends. Quite surprised it hasn't been busier. I have seen other EVs just parked up, and this one has been free since I started one of the hikes for at least an hour. So I guess maybe we're in between. It's only a Monday, and obviously the caveat here is that on a weekend this would probably be absolutely chock-a-block and possibly iced, or even just people camping out on it all day. So you really would have to get here at this kind of time, or be lucky with it. And it's kind of one of those that shows you if you're out and about and these places put these in, then they really can make a difference, because I'm heading down to Forks now. And that's where there is a Tesla Supercharger with Magic Dock and a Rivian Adventure Network, which by the time you watch this may even be open to non-Teslas. But in any case, that is, out of the park. That's away from here. You can go around. We can do a lot. I charged in Port Angeles this morning, and was able to go up here, come back down here, and I'll be able to get there, and I'll have plenty. I'm going to check those sites out. If I need to charge, I will. Good times, and thank you to Olympic National Park for a free charge.